Kirwan's Game Store, the best place in gaming.
Nicholas Cook and Anthony Kelly. Nick on the left, Anthony on the right. Anthony rolls a 3. I would assume that Nick won that die roll. Nick's running Gear, Anthony running Hat. This matchup, as most people know, favors Nicholas, favors the Gear player, and we are going to start off here with Nick going first. He draws an opening hand of 2 accelerators, a Book of Moon, Upstart Goblin, Phoenix Chain, and I believe a Wiretap. He's going to use the Upstart Goblin right away, putting at Anthony at 9,000. He's just trying to get something going. He's looking for an armor and an arsenal. Cannot see what he drew there, though. Got that off screen. He's going to set 2 cards. I believe he did not draw the armor. Gotta get Anthony's life count correct here. And he's going to start by summoning Romelio. See if this warrants a response here. It's going to get Fiendish Chained by Nicholas. And he's going to proceed by setting 5 cards to his back row and ending his turn. No Gear shenanigans here for Nicholas Cook. Draws for the turn, I believe. He sets the accelerator for a second, then takes it back. Not really wanting to commit that to the field right now. Having used the Fiendish, I don't know if he has an out to an end phase Sanctum here. I do know that he is running Fiendishes and no breakthrough skills. I talked to him in between the rounds. Funny enough. He is running 3 wiretaps, 2 7 Tools of the Bandit. So he has plenty of answers to trap cards, but you cannot 7 Tools of the Bandit Sanctum. Most people know that. Well, you can, but it's just not a good play. He's just going to set the accelerator. Set another card to his back row. I believe that was most certainly Wiretap, and end his turn. Anthony draws for the turn. Hasn't quite revealed what it is yet. He's going to put his Romelio in defense position and pass. Nicholas flips up the accelerator. He's going to swing at the Romelio here. See if this warrants a response from Anthony. He might want to just free up a back row here. Yeah, so he's going to deprison the accelerator here. Card in his hand is possibly a back row that he wants to set, or a card that he wants to activate. I have to fix the match count. It is not 1-1. It is 0-0 right now. We are in round 5, though. Anthony draws for the turn. Yes, draws for the turn. 2 cards in hand. He has a Trap Tricks, Trap Hole Nightmare, and a Spell card. Romelio back to attack position. Pass of the turn back to Nicholas. Nick draws. Checks his back rows. Don't believe he has armor. That might just be the other accelerator. Yeah, he passes back. That is the other accelerator. No targets. Anthony passes right back to Nick after drawing. Nick passes back to Anthony. Anthony passes back to Nick. And Nick summons an arsenal. Alright. Now he's got it going. He's got the engine going. I know he has a Wiretap set. Could possibly have other trap cards. We'll see if Anthony wants to do anything here about this. He's going to try. Attempt to bottomless the arsenal here. Now Nick could Book of Moon here if he wants to save the Wiretap, or you could let it die, or you could just use the Wiretap here. He's going to use the Wiretap. Alright, so bottomless is going to get shuffled back in. Going to activate the effect of his arsenal. Tributing it off. Probably get an armor here. Yep, there's an armor. Summoned in defense position, yeah. It's got a Dark Hole, a Solemn Warning, an MK2. Just going to pass. Anthony surveys the board before committing a card to his back row. Passes back to Nicholas. Nick's going to put armor face down, flip the face up. It's going to meet with a Fiendish Chain. It's going to flip up his accelerator here. See what he decides to go for here. Almost certainly overlaying now that he's baited out one back row. Sorry about that. Summons a Gear Gigant. Gigant. Gonna have a Blackhorn activated against it. Whether or not this resolves is yet to be seen. It will resolve. He's going to summon his MK2 here with his normal summon, activating its effect. Grabbing armor back. Sanctum is responded to, is the response, I imagine, to the resolution of MK2 here. And Warning is going to be activated on the Sanctum. It's going to drop Nicholas by 2,000. He's going to activate Sanctum's second effect when it is destroyed and sent to the graveyard to destroy a card on the field. I guess Nicholas did not see this coming. He avoids the Moral Talk coming out, but the destruction of his armor will not be stopped here. It's a good exchange for Anthony. Armor is not a fun card to be dealing with for the hat player. He draws for his turn. I believe it was that Fire Hand. He's got Book of Moon, Fire Hand, summons Fire Hand. There's a clutch full of spell and trap cards. Mystical Space Typhoon among them. Romelio switches to defense position? Possibly not. Thinks about it, puts her in defense. Swings his Fire Hand at the Giriano. 600 life points off the clock for Nick. Anthony's going to set some fresh new back rows. Pass the turn back to Nick. Nicholas sets one new back row, and in the end phase it will get space. It was a gear. Definitely that something that Anthony would like to end phase space here. 16 being swung in directly. Dropping Anthony and dropping Nicholas down to 38. Sets one, passes back to Nick. Nick draws. There is a soul charge in his hand. He's going to activate Darkle here, so Fire Hand will not be able to get its effect, having nothing on the field to destroy. We'll see if he opts to use the soul charge or if he has another monster in hand that he can actually follow up with. He's just going to set a card here. Both players checking their back rows furiously. Anthony draws. It is a monster of some sort. Doesn't always mean he's got any action going, being that he's running hat. It could just be an artifact. And there's a gear during his end phase from Nick. Nick's finally going to get to resolve that card. He's going to summon MK2 and Giriano here, yep. Both come out at level 4. Now it's his turn. He draws. He's going to overlay, before doing anything else, into a Gigant. Gaunt's effect is going to activate, almost certainly. Let's see what he wants to grab, though. He's going to swing for 23 before he activates the effect. Kind of looking at his back rows, deciding whether or not he wants to do anything about this Gigant's attack. He's going to Fiendish Chain the Gigant on the attack. Nicholas Cook just sets one and passes. Anthony draws. It appears to be a monster. Trap card in his hand. Just passes right back to Nick. He takes his draw for the turn and activates Soul Charge. We will see whether or not Anthony Kelly has a response. It would appear he does not. Don't know how many Nicholas Cook is targeting. Probably one or two here. Just one, it would seem. Maybe two? Yep, two. Alright, so he's going to get Armor and Arsenal. That takes him down to 18. Gonna get another armor from his deck off of that arsenal. It's gonna attempt to activate the effects. That is a Trap Tricks Trapple Nightmare. It's gonna destroy that armor, but the other armor will go face down, ready to net some advantage next turn. And then he draws an Ice Hand for his turn. A good card, obviously, in this matchup, but might be a little late here. We'll see whether or not he wants to summon and crash or if he just wants to set it. Setting it, he runs into the issue that Nick could just overlay for a Dweller if he really fears the hands here on his following turn after getting the advantage off of his armor. Anthony just passes the turn back after setting the Ice Hand in a new back row. Nicholas starts by flipping up that armor. Can activate its effect. Does Anthony have a response? He does not. So he searches here. He searches for an MK2. Anthony's going to check his graveyard while he's going through his deck. He's going to summon the MK2. No, he's just revealing the MK2. Alright. So he has a Mind Control in his hand, which he's going to activate the Mind Control. Now he has nothing to fear about as far as that hand goes. He's going to peek at it, sees it's a hand, puts it in attack position. I think he's just verifying that the flip summon is okay there, which it appears it is. It's going to activate Book of Moon onto the Ice Hand. The resolution of the chain, I'd imagine. Well, actually, no, the flipping doesn't start a chain, so he's just going to activate in response to the flip. MK2 comes next. We're going to see if that's special summoning anything. It will. Its effect is fine. It doesn't target, so now Nicholas gets to summon whatever he wants. It's going to summon the Accelerator here. Overlays that with his armor. Probably another Gigant here. A Dweller. So he's preparing for the Ice Hand to go back to Anthony. Makes the Dweller. He might not have any outs for the hand in his back row, which is... he's telegraphing there. Possibly he does, though. He's just being safe here. So we've got an attack for 1,000, an attack for 1,700. I have to check these life totals, so that puts Anthony at 63, passes the turn, the hand goes back. It's going to call the Haunted Myrmelia during the end phase and destroy the set Soul Charge of Nicholas Cook. Definitely what Nicholas would want to have hit out of all things. Anthony gonna check Nicholas's graveyard here before deciding to make any other play. Well, any plays on his turn. Shuffles his hand. Flips up the ice hand. Let's see what he decides to do with these. He attacks with the Murmelio over Georgiano. Puts Nick down to 1,200. I don't think he's going to swing with that ice hand though. He has not normal summoned for his turn. Possibly thinking about overlaying. Murmelio is not doing that much. Just 1 second, I'm having an error with the computer. I will keep the stream going and just mute it for a second.
Would you be here any minute? I don't know where it is.
We are back. The laptop said it was going to die and that would have killed the whole stream, but don't believe the life points have changed since I left. This, of course, being a very grindy matchup here. It would appear we've come back to Nicholas resolving what appears to be a gear. I had a gear armor. He's going to add an accelerator to his hand. Very far ahead on advantage right now. He makes a Gigon. Another way to gain more advantage. He's just going to swing with it at the Murmelio. 700 life points right there for Anthony Kelly. 700 life points brings him down to 54. And then he's going to take the 17, putting him down to 33 life points total to the 1,200 that he has. $29, I believe. Yes, 29, alright. Murmelio is going to end phase with the Call of the Haunted, targeting a set card in the middle. Interesting, he's going to activate a Fiendish Shame here. It would appear that middle card is quite important. There's Ignition in Anthony Kelly's hand, we see, along with what appears to be Beagle Talk. And I believe a Scythe. Looks like a Scythe. He does run one Scythe. and 1 Beagle Talk, so he's drawn 2 of his 1-ofs here. He's an MST, an Ignition, a Beagle Talk, a Scythe, and 1 other mystery card. He's gonna think long and hard about his next play. He's certainly in a tough spot here. Nicholas has 4 back rows set with 2 Geargans out on the field. Surprised that Nick hasn't detached for the cost on that middle Geargan after it's gotten Fiendish Chain just with the level 3s in his graveyard, but he's going to tribute summon Scythe here. Confirms that nothing really happens when Scythe gets tribute summoned. He's going to swing Scythe into the Dweller and get booked here. That book we saw in the opening turn. His life points are in a tough spot right now. And those Fiendish Chains have really clogged his back row. Like, he cannot set the Ignition and an artifact monster like he would like to get the combo going with the Beagle Talk. Because of those Fiendish Chains, he could MST one of his own Fiendish Chains, but it's not certain whether or not that would be effective. He's going to search now with his Gigon, grab an MK2 back to his hand. He's going to summon the MK2. Gets another MK2 here. In response, Anthony's going to MST his middle card. This could possibly be a Moral Talk. It is, it's a Moral Talk, so this will allow him to summon, but Dweller's going to cut that off. I imagine Alucard here for Nicholas, probably seal the game. Anthony appears to be playing it out. Don't think there's any way he can come out of this position. There might be a dispute going on right now. I'm not sure over what. Possibly life point totals. Alucard, everything swings in. That's game. Game 1 goes to Geargia. Not very surprising given the matchup. This is definitely the matchup you want to see as a Geargia player. So Nicholas will be taking that. Anthony gets the luxury of going first in game 2. Only at game 2 here, not quick like our last one. Alright, let's look at the side decks. Anthony has 1 Maxi, 1 Skullmeister, 1 DD Crow, 2 DD Warrior Lady, 1 Soul Release, 2 Noblemen of Crossout, which I assume he will be siding in at one point in this game or another, 1 Blackhorn of Heaven, 2 Debunks, 1 Deep Dark Trapple, 1 Acid Trapple, which I assume he will also be siding in, 1 Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, and 1 Needle Sealing, also good in this matchup. So Needle Sealing, the Acid Trapple, the Noblemans, they all look really good in this matchup, obviously, standard Geargia side. We'll have to see what he decides to since he's going first, but the Noblemans and the Acid Trapples are usually just good due to the fact that Acid Trapple you can just search off from Remelio, and the Noblemans you have a problem dealing with the set armor anyway, so for Nicholas we have the 1-dimensional Fisher he has in his side deck. I don't believe he mains one. Yeah, he does not. Just 1-dimensional Fisher. Oh yeah, I forgot. Wow, I was thinking. Alright, Anthony draws his opening 6, starts off with the Murmelio, summoning it. See what he wants to search here. Doesn't find what he's looking for in the top portion of his deck. Moves to the bottom. Now he's thinking about what he wants to grab. Compares his hand, grabs the Acid Trapple. He's going to set 4 cards and end his turn. Nicholas here starts off with an Upstart Goblin, putting Anthony up to 9,000. Looking at a hand of all magenta for Nick here. Lots of magenta cards. Sets 5, passes to Anthony. Anthony's going to start move to his battle phase here. Just going to swing for 16. Nice and safe. The path is there, why not take it? Murmelio already netted advantage. He's going to then proceed to set 1 monster and pass the turn back to Nicholas Cook, who will then, in the end phase, attempt to activate a Gear. We'll see if Anthony has a response here. It's usually one of those snap respond cards. Appears he does not have a response. The monsters will be summoned, MK2 and Geargiano, respectively. Coming in at level 4. I mean, if you're going to open a hand of all trap cards, that is definitely one you would like to see among them. He's going to start his turn by overlaying those 2 level 3 monsters. Level 4, level 3 monsters. For a Gear Gigant. He will probably not opt to use its effect here. Does not want the Nightmare to happen. Yeah, he's just going to swing. It's going to get Fiendish Chain in response to its attack. Wiretap is the response here. From Cook, Wiretap is the response from Kelly, and 7 Tools of the Bandit is the response from Nick. Anthony gets a grin off of that one. So we're going to have Nicholas Cook here losing 1,000, Anthony Kelly losing 700. I imagine that in main phase 2 we're probably going to see a search here from Nicholas Cook. I don't think he really fears Nightmare as much now. Possibly does. Okay, he's still respecting the Nightmare. Kelly starts off by summoning his Lava Hand. Bottomless is the response. Another Fire Hand is flipped up, and we'll see where this goes. Kelly does run, I believe, yeah, he runs all 3. He runs 3 and 3 of each. He's going to run it into the Gigant. He's going to end up taking 700 off of that. And then a Debunk will be the response here from Nicholas Cook. Putting him down. He's at 7,600 for Anthony Kelly. Loses his Ice Hand. I know his Ice Hand is Fire Hand. There's a good situation here from Nicholas Cook. Attaches for the cost of Gigant after it gets Fiendish Chain just to stick that Geargiano in the graveyard. The best place to have him. Most certainly not your hand. Anthony Kelly sets 1 back row, passes. Nicholas Cook sets 1 back row, passes. Kelly draws again, passes. Nicholas Cook here draws. Fingers the card for a bit. It's an Armor. He's going to commit that to the field. Attacks for 1,100. Dropping Anthony Kelly down to 65. Pass the turn pass it back to him. Effective Armor, flip it face down. Gets Acid Trap Hold in response to the resolution of its effect, misses timing. when it flips. No search for Nicholas Cook here. I believe Nobleman of Crossout was the draw for Anthony Kelly. That's not going to do anything in this current situation. Accelerator is the draw here for Nicholas Cook. He summons it and attacks. 5100 for Anthony Kelly now. Turn passes, draws a card. Draws what appears to be a monster that he is thinking about summoning. Yeah, it's an ice hand. It's got 2 fire hands banished already, though, so it only has 1 target in the deck. It's just gonna set the ice hand. Set another back row. Pass his turn. Nick draws. I believe he asked how many cards were in Anthony's hand. Passes back to Anthony. Anthony draws a Sanctum for the turn, but he already has 5 back rows used. He has no room if he wants to set this.
What's going on?
Anthony Kelly is playing against Nick Cook.
The Nick Cook that wants to fight by PLF right now.
I don't know. Don't say weird things on the stream. The stream's going. You could have come in from that side.
Whatever.
Alright, so this matchup has gone... Okay, so Nick attacked a face-down ice hand, and then debunked it.
Of course he debunked it. They always have to.
Yeah, and then...
Like,
wait, no, and then Kelly responds with wiretap.
Yeah.
And then Nick has 7 tools, so Nick's going to go down to 34 here, and... Well, Anthony's not losing anything, but... Once again, the battle of the wiretaps is won by 7 tools. It already happened once this game. Dude, it happened once already this game. This is...
I hate this format just because, like, you have to play at least 2 wiretaps in your deck if you're playing any trap cards, and that card clunks. Like regardless, we're playing inconsistent decks. All the decks right now are inconsistent, no matter what anyone says, because it's a very luck based game and everything. But like with this,
Anthony's activating Sanctum in response to the summon of Armor. I think this is going to resolve, considering Nick's gone through a lot of his counter traps. By the way, we have Kevin on the stream now, who we saw earlier. All right, Moral Talk is the summon for Anthony. He's going to use to pop the armor.
He must have like something for that X.
It's chained.
It's chained.
Yeah, okay. It's chained. I mean, but there is a Kirwan on the graveyard, so I mean, Kirwan is in a good spot right here.
Yeah.
Anthony's been playing really well, but it's going to be hard for him to come out of this game.
Yeah, like...
Just because this matchup is just so... It's very, very one-sided.
Yeah. All the matchups these days are one-sided. Like...
This is probably, like, the one, though.
Yeah.
Nick just draws, passes.
And that's why I wanted to find out with the deck. With my personal deck, but just...
Alright, so Nick draws. I believe he's probably just going to pass here. This is the main thing, these Fiendish chains have come up. These floating Fiendish chains that have been sitting in the back row. Alright, what do you just pass it back to Nick.
What do you think about Full House right now?
Full House is good.
If people are playing, like, triple Fiendish chain again, and over, this, why not get rid of 3 of their real cards, or, like, just force out a wiretap right there?
Alright, so Arsenal summons Armor. Nicholas is once again going to try and get his armor train going. Anthony's got a set monster. Anthony's got his ice hand, 1 ice hand and 2 fire hands banished.
What's in Kelly's hand?
I don't know. Both of them have been keeping their hand off string. But the thing is, Nick is playing this really well. He's been making sure not to set his armor on the turn he summons it.
So
and he's just using it on his turn, just so he can't get no one of cross-outed, and he also can't
Why
get
didn't he summon that in
there.
Defense?
Oh, it must be summoned in defense, actually. It has to be summoned in defense, so yeah, he's just going to fix that.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
There's a Chris Wool heater taking up everybody's space with his face.
Probably.
Alright, D-Prison is going to be activated on Moral Talk.
And that's going to go through, because you're not stopping D-Prison now.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Anthony's used up most of his counter traps at this point. This is...
Yeah, there's a wire... I see one wiretap in the graveyard. There's
2 wiretaps in the graveyard.
Of course there is.
Yeah, Anthony's in a really tough spot here. He's at 6,100, and he's managed to get the damage race going in even the first game, which is important against Kirwan.
Who won the first game?
Nick did. It's important to get the damage race going if you're running Hat, because you have to close out the game early, because your late game is not worth it. Alright, there's a Fiendish chain from Anthony. Let's see if Nick has a response to this. Every one of his armors have been responded to so far.
Now Kelly's just gonna flip full house at the end phase and just go in.
Kelly does. I'm pretty sure he has the one full house in his extra deck.
Yes,
on his side deck.
Yeah.
Actually, he does not have full house.
Really?
No.
He seems
There's
like
a fire hand. All right.
Yeah.
So he still has 2 ice hands in his deck. This fire hand is actually real here. Warning activated on the fire hand summon.
I guess.
I believe Anthony is going to activate its effect here.
I think it's because if Kelly pops the X, it's whatever. But if Kelly pops the armor, like the armor was still gonna die regardless.
Yeah.
It's just he doesn't have.
But
a fire.
I believe he's going to activate the effect of his fire hand here, right?
Yeah, he has to.
Yeah, like
It's to summon ice hand. Like
this isn't the first time.
I would honestly pop the X at this point because the armor's not doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. And you can just run over the Georgiano.
Yeah, he has another
with your ice.
Yeah, he has another and it frees up a back row. Which is kind of important because he's playing artifacts, right?
Yeah, this is a good play. This is good for Kelly. Whoa. This is definitely the best turn of events that could have happened for him. We'll see if he has an ice hand to summon though. He does. Okay, there we go. Now he's gonna run over the Georgiano with his ice hand.
Take away. He's at Nick's at 14 now.
He is at 14. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, like this is the best turn of events that could have happened for Kelly in a game where literally so much can go wrong. And it's not the first time we've seen Nicholas do this. He did warning an artifact sanctum earlier.
Oh, that's rough. It's just like you're biasing yourself 2,000. And
they are complicated cards.
In
respect to people that do these plays.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Icehand's just gonna run over the Georgiano. Look at you see Kelly smile. He's happy with the way that turned out.
Why didn't he? Do we know what the set is?
Which one?
That set.
No, we didn't get to see it. Okay, so we're gonna have a fiendish champ. Wait, what happened to the Georgiano if he wasn't being attacked?
I don't know. Maybe, it misses timing because of.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, the Gigan doesn't even go off. I forgot all about that. All right, so Anthony's actually in a pretty decent spot here. I mean, Gear is a dead card right now for Cook, so that's something. It seems as though he's just drawing into trap cards.
Yeah.
I believe he has an Accelerator in his graveyard. I don't think he has 2 though. He's already resolved a Gear, and he had an MK2 that he used, so Gear is dead. Anthony's got like reasonable draws, but at the same time his back rows are so flooded that unless he has artifacts set already, most of his artifacts are just going to be dead draws.
Yeah, and like if you draw into Ignitions and Sanctums with your artifact set, the Ignitions become dead and the Sanctums become dead. So like the problem with that deck is it really needs Daigusto Emerald, and like Potted Economy is good, but Potted Economy isn't like a great card.
Yeah, it's not terribly reliable. I'm pretty sure he runs Emerald. Yeah, he does. And if he has a level 4 set, he could make it. But the thing is, he's kept getting his monsters banished.
Yeah.
So many of his monsters have been banished.
And like he can't overlay into this.
I believe they're having a dispute over time here. I think that time has been called in the round, but I believe they have an extension because they're at the table.
Yeah. I think featured matches should just get time extensions because like.
No, they do. I don't know what their time extension's at though.
You might want to do that.
The computer is having issues with its charger, so once again I had to go away for a second, but...
And if it dies off, why do you? We're sorry.
Yeah.
Well, Matt's sorry.
Everyone's sorry.
Yeah.
So I missed some things. It would appear that Nightmare was activated on Gigan, which I assume was summoned off of... Where do you get the 2 level 4s from?
I'm not sure.
There's an MK2 there somewhere, so... Okay, in the...
Well, like...
Kelly's going to start
Kelly's
his turn
had
by-
that knock forever.
Yeah, he's had it since...
Does he have a
turn
Vermilio in Gear? Yeah, so he has the Dionaea. So like Dionaea, he could. I don't know what he would want to do right now in like.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't believe he's definitely a head-on advantage at this point.
Yeah, so like Exciton's not helping. Like Kelly has this in the bag, I think.
He's got
unless like the only way
he's in a winning position unless those back rows are very real.
Yeah, like, and he gets to pop one for free. So like, if he pops the black one or a wiretap right now, like that's really good. Because like. That it's still going.
All right,
on.
Rivalry of Warlords is the card from Nicholas Cook.
Does Rivalry resolve?
Why would Rivalry not resolve?
Because it's getting popped, and that's an insect and that's a plant. So Kelly has to get rid of one more. So in turn of events, I guess.
Wait, Dionaea is a plant.
Yeah, Dionaea is a plant. No, yeah,
they're both insects. They're both insects.
No, Dionaea is a plant and Vermilio is an insect.
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. Okay, it's working now. Okay, never mind. It just stopped again.
Very fun.
All right, thank you. All right, so the battery is fine. We're back fully again. All right, so
yeah, and he wouldn't get
the rivalry resolves because he chained it in response to the activation. So then it resolves as much as it can, and then it goes away.
Okay.
And then
Something's wrong with the power wire.
all right, well,
I'll hang on.
everyone just stay away from it. All right, so Kelly takes his turn, sets a back row, passes. I mean, they're in time, so this game will probably go to Kelly, and then we'll go into the next game.
He should just scoop it up at this point. Like he's just kind of wasting time. Like like you're not gonna like.
Well, with this accelerator, this is different though.
Yeah.
He hasn't normal summoned yet.
Yeah.
And I believe he can. Yeah, he'll Excite Knight here. I feel
don't
like
know.
Kelly probably has a response to this in some way.
I feel like he should. I'm not sure if he does because like there's just sometimes you're just like
there's just sometimes where
you can't play around.
You're in time and you're in such a grindy game that you just start setting things. All right, so there is a nightmare.
Where's the wiretap?
And there we go. All the counter traps were expended on these counter trap battles they had.
Yeah. Of course they're all.
All right, so Kelly passes the turn, I believe, and he just wins this game in time. So that takes us to game 3.
What do you think? Kelly,
in time.
What do you think Kelly could side deck?
Here, already. If he's
think...
going first, I mean, okay. So first, let's put the life totals and stuff. Here, you go look at it.
Do you think he'd side out the card card? I would like.
If he's going second, most definitely, I wouldn't side it out going first.
So he would put in. Like literally, he could put in one of the needle ceilings just in
yes.
Like acid trap will definitely.
Yep, he already put that in.
And then the 2 knocks, and that's about it. Cause like.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean that's good.
Yeah.
At the same time, if you look at Nicholas' side, he doesn't really have a ton that he can side in either. But at the same time, he doesn't need to side much because the matchup's so good for him anyway.
Yeah, the 3 MST. He's not meaning MST.
And if he's going first, he certainly doesn't need the MSTs in his main.
No, definitely not. But
he's got like D-Fisher's okay, if you're really afraid of the hands. And it's also good against the artifact when sent to the graveyard effects.
They're considered spell and trap cards when they go to the graveyard. So D-Fisher doesn't affect them.
Really?
Yeah, it's like Inzector Dragon.
It's the macro, it's the macro.
Macro would because macro just says all cards. D-Fisher specifically says monsters.
Alright, so both players going to shuffle their decks here, getting ready.
That'd be great.
So,
I mean, I see
Nick's going first and like
in time.
Yeah, in time, and Geargias have a really good time. Like as long as they open up like decent,
because you're not going to be able to put damage onto them.
And the problem
it's not like Dragons in Time. Dragons in Time you usually lose even if you go first because unless you're able to establish that soul charge field, you have nothing to really defend you. But in Geargia, you're always going to open with something that's going to stop your opponent from doing damage to you.
No, like I could say this like Kelly's deck doesn't have a best hand. Nick's deck does. So like that's like the benefit of Nick going into time, like because he has a nut hand that beats Kelly's best hand.
Yep.
And like Geargia has that.
And his word and like the okay hands of Geargia will even beat the best hand of Hat.
Yeah, it's
if they're going first most of the time.
And it's like because Geargia like right now you just set you set your 5, and then you set your armor. But like also Girya can brick. You know what I mean? Oh, they have to roll.
Oh, they have to roll. Oh yeah, I forgot they did that. Yeah.
I haven't done that in so long.
Yeah, I have not done this because I've never.
And
Okay, yeah, you
Kelly
roll.
loses.
Yeah, Kelly loses anyway, so Nick will be going first.
Kelly opened a Beagle Talks. I think he opened Beagle Talks. Sanctum.
And Nicholas opens a lot of magenta cards again.
Yeah.
6 magenta cards, just like
That's
games do.
rough. That's
but
rough
if
because
he has
they're in
gear,
time.
if he has gear,
Yeah,
though.
if he's but like Kelly has a really strong play because I see Sanctum. I saw a Beagle Talk.
He does have Beagle Talk.
And I'm pretty sure I saw Ignition, so he can go Ignition, Beagle Talk whenever he wants and make so he can make a 5, and then he can disrupt Nick's plays because he has the Sanctum, and like Sanctum just brings.
Yeah,
out
I think he's gonna
Moral
wait to do that. He's just gonna wait on the same. There's a gear.
Talk. There's a gear.
That's like I said earlier. If there's ever a hand of all
How many
magenta,
cards does he have in hand right now?
he's got one.
Okay.
If there's ever a hand of all magenta cards, you want one of them to be gear.
Mm-hmm. You want the second one to be gear, another one to be gear too.
Yeah, yeah, 2 gears
Why not?
and a wiretap.
Yeah.
So Nicholas obviously in a good position here. He can even.
He can just.
He's just
You
gonna,
can't Exciton him right now.
correct. He's ahead on 1 card. And there's a black worm met with a wiretap. Are we gonna have the counter battle again?
Are we gonna have it? Are we gonna have it? He has to.
Oh, Kelly, the counter battle. He accepts it.
Yeah, I get
Wiretap on wiretap.
There's no way that those are wired. The other 2 are wiretaps because I think the other 3 are artifact cards. So Kelly loses.
Yeah,
this
you're
wiretap
saying
battle.
You're saying Ignition, Sanctum, and Beagle Talk are the other
Yeah.
6 for him. All right, so yeah, I think the counter war will be lost here by Anthony once again.
And that's kind of rough because he has to put those 2 cards back in his deck now, and those are just dead
They're
draws
just dead draws. Yeah.
from now on.
They're having a dispute over something here. I think they're trying to decide what goes into the deck and what does not.
Yeah. Well, like
His 1 wiretap's going to go back in the deck. The black one will not. Because he negated the wiretap that was negated.
no, but the wiretap negates the wiretap.
But the 1 is still being negated. Okay, actually, I don't know.
No, both
so-
of Kelly's
so
cards
here's-
goes back into the deck.
So they're getting the judges here. People are pointing at wiretaps. Lots of stuff's happening.
I don't know how hard of a concept this is. Both of the cards go back into the deck because both the wiretaps stopped.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah. But
which isn't good for Kelly, considering. All right, so that's a bottomless. That's not a Sanctum.
he still has a time to respond to the actual summon of X.
Yes, he does. He
Yeah.
can still bottomless. He can bottomless after the
Yeah.
resolution of that
So
chain
yeah, so
if he wants to.
but Nick just has 2 more trap cards in hand. So
And Nick also has the Georgiano, so
Yeah.
it's not like he's just completely losing out to a bottomless.
oh, and I think he had armor. I think he drew armor for turn. That's rough.
Yeah, going in time, Nicholas Cook here has a very, very strong hand. It will be the bottomless. Bottomless is going to activate. It's going to banish the Gigant. All right, now everyone's having a good laugh because this has been absolutely ridiculous so far.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to see Gigant. Not Gigant. Georgiano come in defense position.
Yeah.
And yeah, from there just pass. You can't go swinging yet because they're not in sudden death. They're just in turns.
Yeah.
But once it gets to sudden death,
I think-
Georgiano it could just go into attack position. If Anthony has nothing, then it's game.
Yeah.
And he's just gonna.
Well, he has. I'm pretty sure he has Sanctum and he has Beagle Toxa, and he just do Moral Talk for turn.
All right, we'll see. Here's an attack. There's a mystical. If he might just be mysticaling his Beagle Talk here. Oh, it's a Moral Talk that he drew for turn.
Yeah.
He had just
I
said
don't.
that.
I don't know why he would just.
He doesn't have ignition.
Okay. Well, no.
If he had ignition, none of this
I
would be
think.
happening.
I think the MST was the ignition.
Yeah.
Or ignition that we thought it was.
So
the
he
MST.
kills Georgiano here. Still no life point difference between the 2. I believe this might be their last turn to do damage before sudden death. You get 2 turns now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they changed it down from the 3 or 4 that it was. Alright, Anthony's gonna check his deck, see what he's got going. He's got Dione in his hand.
Does he have Zenmayo? Does he play as Zenmayo?
You can check his deck list. I don't think he has a way to get Beagle Talk out of his back row, though. There's a gear from the end phase. Poor Nick.
The poor Kelly.
Yeah, things looking bleak here for Anthony Kelly.
No. He should have just made a push last turn, I think, because, like, Nick wasn't really in that great of position.
Yeah, you're saying he should have, like, used Dione in attack position, swung over what's probably an armor, and just tried to get anything on the board damage-wise. Yeah, I agree with that.
And, like, because the Moral Tech's already in attack mode, so...
Yeah,
like,
it's 300 damage regardless. Which, there it is, that's the game.